This is not a love story. This is not a fairy tale. This is not a lullaby. This is war, and I am just a girl who never asked for it. The bed you share is not a bed. It is a sentence, a stage, a duty. Sometimes, when he is drunk, he calls it his kingdom. You learned to turn away without flinching, to breathe through your mouth. It doesn't matter anymore if he wants her or needs her. The need is the same. The hunger is the same. Tonight, he smells of horses and sweat and something you can't name. Something wild, untamed, like the long grass swaying in the wind, hiding what lies beneath. You turn to face the wall, tucking your chin against your chest. Why did I let them marry us? Why did my father agree? Was it worth the dowry? Was it worth the cow? Was it worth the donkey? What is she worth? You stop counting the nights. You stop feeling the difference between dreams and wakefulness, between what is real and what isn't. You stop counting the moons, the seasons, the years. You stop feeling anything but emptiness. There is a small hole in the wall across from the bed. Whenever the moon peeks through, you see the blue sky during the day and the darkness at night. During the day, you pretend to be busy weaving. At night, you pretend to be asleep. You listen to the men talking in the courtyard about politics, land, possessions, battles. You think about open fields, endless skies, a life without walls. One morning, you wake up different. You feel the space beside you, colder than usual. You reach out to touch the emptiness. Then you feel a stirring within you, a tiny flutter like a bird taking flight. Fear grips you. What is this? Why does your body ache? Your breasts feel heavy with milk that has not yet come. You hide the bulge under your linen dress. You keep hiding it until the bulge becomes a swell, until the swell becomes a mound. The village women gather round, their fingers digging into your flesh like they own it, like they have always owned it. One of them says, "You've got some color in your cheeks now," and you know what she means. The men will notice. Soon, everyone will. You wonder how you will hide it then. How will you explain it? Will you dare to speak of it? Can you even name it? When you are with child, the village smiles. They say, "You have done your part." They pat your back, pull your braids, pinch your cheeks, touch your belly. They say, "You look pretty, like a full moon, like a ripe fig, like a laden branch." But you don't feel pretty. You feel enormous. Your stomach swells, your back breaks, your breath grows shallow. You hate the way people look at you, the way they ask questions and offer congratulations, the way they invade your space, your time, your body. You would give anything to be invisible, to slip away, to fade away, to disappear. There is no doctor, only herbs, only pain, only waiting. You search for answers in books with old wives' tales. You read about walking backwards, standing on your head, eating strange foods. Nothing helps. You pace the yard, clutching your belly. You talk to the unborn child inside you. You ask questions, but you already know the answers. You tell stories, but you already know the endings. The sun beats down on your face. Quote, trickles down your neck. Quote, the wind ruffles your hair. The earth trembles beneath your feet. The sky weeps above your head. The rain soaks through your clothes. Storm rages in your heart. You hate the way your body changes. You hate the way it feels. You hate the way it smells. You hate the way it betrays you. Then the baby comes. It is always a surprise. It is always a shock. You scream into straw as the baby comes. You claw at the blanket, but no one lets you. They want you to feel the pain. They want you to taste the fear. They want you to witness the moment of truth. They want you to remember it. No one covers your mouth. They want to hear it. They want to see it. They want to celebrate it. You bite your lip until it bleeds. Blood pools on the floor, on your thighs. The midwife wipes your thighs with ash. She cleans you. She ties you. She watches you. The baby cries. It is a boy. Everyone cheers. They want to hold him, to touch him, to kiss him, to name him. You are allowed to smile. You show your teeth. It is a new beginning. It is also an ending. You are given no time to heal. You are feeding, cleaning, bending the next day. The village women gather round again, their eyes sharp, their tongues sharper. They ask questions. I offer advice. They tell you what to do, what not to do. They tell you what to think, what not to think. You hear their words, but you don't understand them. You feel the burn of their gazes, but you don't flinch. You are beyond their judgments, their expectations, their demands. You are beyond everything but survival. At night, the baby cries. So does your body, but only one is held. You rock the cradle with your sore arms. You sing songs you have never sung before. You hum tunes you have never heard. You pray to gods you do not believe in. You hope for sleep that does not come. You dream of freedom that slips through your fingers like sand. The nights are cold. The blankets are thin. The room is dark. The shadows are long. You huddle by the hearth, seeking warmth, seeking solace. You watch the flames dance, seeking distraction, seeking escape. You stare into the abyss, seeking answers, seeking meaning. Winter comes early. Winter comes hard. You wrap the baby in layers, but it is still too cold for him. The midwife says it was too cold for his spirit. You bury him behind the hut. You dig a hole with your bare hands. You place the cloth bundle in it. You cover it with dirt. You plant a tree on top of it. There is no grave marker. There is no priest. You whisper to the dirt, I'm sorry I couldn't keep you warm. You walk back to the house, your hands stained with mud, your eyes filled with tears, your heart torn with grief. The baby is gone. A part of you is gone. The dream is dead. You are all that is left. You are all that remains. You are all that is broken, and no one sees it, and no one cares, and no one asks why. They don't need to. They know why. They know why you cry. They know why you bleed. They know why you suffer. They know why you exist. Okay, and I am just a girl who never asked for any of it. The weight of a woman's work. Your day begins before the sun and ends only when your body gives out. You are a peasant woman. You do everything, and still, it's not enough. Your rooster wakes you before the light. You slip from your straw bed, careful not to wake the sleeping forms beside you. Your oldest, barely 5 years old, coughs into her blanket. Beside her, 2 other mounds breathe softly. One stirs, turns over, and goes back to sleep. You are grateful for that 1 hour of quiet before the work begins. As you walk to the smoky hearth, you find kindling and place it carefully on your palm. The wood is damp from the night's dew, but there is no time to search for dry kindling. You must be ready when the others awake. A tiny tongue of flame sparks to life. You poke it with a bit of straw. More sparks fly, and you jerk your head away, just in time to avoid the flames licking at your hair. Barefoot, you cross the cold mud floor, reach down to scoop up a handful of wet straw, make a small pile for each of the 3 humans who share your bed. With aching joints, you pull on your rough linen dress, the one your mother made for you on the day you were married. It has mended itself a dozen times since then, and yet your mother's stitching shows through the grime. You smooth the wrinkles, hoping it will make you look a little less poor today, a little less worn. By the time the men and children are up and fed, you are making bread. Your elbows rest on the worn wooden table, and the dough sticks to your flour-covered fingers. Next to you, your youngest nurses, his cheeks chubby, his eyes wide and bright. He gurgles happily and sucks on his thumb. His older sister watches him with envy. She wants to hold the baby, but she knows her job is to watch. When you look up, she meets your eye, and you nod. She understands. For now, her job is to watch. Later, she will come and help. You roll out the dough, trying to ignore the ache in your back. The dough is too stiff. Your muscles protest, and you bite your lip against a sharp word. Kneading is good for keeping the pain in your belly from coming out your mouth. So rolling the dough calms the beast in your bones. You roll it thin, spread a little oil on top, add cheese from the last of yesterday's milking, roll it up, tuck it in, flip it over, and start again. Before long, the loaves will be ready for the oven. Outside, the hens squawk for food, and you throw in some grain. A fat hen pecks hungrily, then darts away when you try to catch it. The goats bleat for milking. You gather your pails, though you already have full ones waiting near the hearth. Today, you will take the full pails to market. It's a long walk. You will need what you can carry. At the well, you lower the bucket and wait. As you haul it up, the rope bites into your palm. It was easier when your hands were younger, softer. Now, every drop of water you draw is a victory. Your shoulders protest, and you set the bucket down. Only a few more trips, and you will be done. Done with this chore, anyway. When you arrive at the market, the square is crowded. You weave between people and stalls, calling out, "Water, water, fresh from the well." No one looks at you. No one sees you. It's only a few pause to buy water from your pail. You refill your empty pots and head back. Back home, you lay the loaves on the rack. They look like death, hard and gray, like stones. You shove them into the oven, hoping the heat will bring life to them. When you open the door, you can just make out the shapes inside. You cannot tell if they are alive yet. They cool slowly. You wait impatiently. The oldest comes to help you weed the garden. Point to stubborn weeds. She pulls them up, crams them into the rotted hole you dug this morning. Her small hands turn black with soil, and you smile. She looks less like a girl and more like a helper, like someone who belongs. Later, you wash clothes with your fingers raw from scrubbing linens. You rub them even harder, trying to clean yourself of other people's stains, their smells. Around you, women gossip, but you keep silent. What would you say? Where would you start? You can't remember the last time anyone asked you a question or looked at you as if you existed. From the riverbank, you watch the children play and call to mind the day your daughter was born. Your husband held her up to see her, and for a moment, his face wasn't hard. It was soft. For a moment, he looked at you and smiled, but the next day, the smile was gone, and he went back to looking right through you. On the way home, you stopped to collect sticks for the fire. You gathered kindling, dead leaves, bits of wood broken by the winter storm. In the crook of your elbow, you cradled the armful of twigs. You walked past a man pulling a cart. His animal is thin, ribs showing under its matted fur. You think of your own animals, fat and healthy. You think of the food they will provide, the food you will make, the work you will do. And you know you will always be hungry. When the sun sinks low in the sky, you give your husband his supper. The embers in the hearth crackle and hiss. Soon they will die. You go to the bedroom, lie down on the straw mattress, wrap yourself in your blankets. Your head aches, your feet hurt, your stomach is empty, but you are needed. Across the room, another woman cries out as she helps deliver a baby. Her husband holds a lantern high, the light dancing wildly on the walls. You get up and go to her side. Her face is pale, her breaths shallow. You push back her dark hair, wipe the sweat from her forehead. Another girl is born, tiny, fragile, screaming. The mother is weak, the father tired. You know what needs to be done. You do it without a word. No one asks you, no one tells you, you just do. The baby is still crying. You rock her gently, hum a song you don't remember learning. Outside, the wind rises, and you hold the child closer. It is safer here than out there. You tell stories of bravery, of girls who grow up to become strong women. The child quiets, her face peaceful, her breathing slow and deep. You give her back to the mother. The father cuts the umbilical cord. He looks at you and nods his thanks. You didn't save this child, you think? You just helped. Tomorrow, the child will be named for you, you think? You don't stop to listen for an answer because you already know it. You go back to your own bed, to the cough that won't quit, to the dreams of fire and blood, of shadows moving, of screams echoing. In the morning, your husband will tell you what to do. You won't ask why, you won't ask where. You will do what you are told. If you are given a new task, you will learn it quickly. Something breaks, you will fix it. Someone is hurt, you will help. You won't ask for payment, you won't ask for praise. You won't ask for rest. It's tonight. You dream of spinning wool until your fingers bleed. Then you rinse them in cold milk to hide the pain. The spindle sings to you. It calls to you. It demands that you do what you have always done, what you will always do, what you are made to do. You wake with a start, gasping for breath, drenched in sweat. In the morning, the rooster crows. You rise before the light, before your bones are ready to move. You are a peasant woman. You do everything, and still, it's not enough. Okay. When girlhood ends, your body changes. You don't grow up. You're taken. Girlhood isn't lost. It's stolen. This chapter takes the viewer through the transition from girl to woman in the medieval world. Menstruation, shame, betrothal, early marriage, and the silencing of innocence. It is deeply emotional, full of unspoken grief and fading childhood. 15 CapCut key points one morning. Blood stains your shift. You hide it. You pray it's not real. Your mother sees. She doesn't speak. She only nods and hands you an extra rag. There is no ceremony, no warmth. It's only a whisper. Now they'll start looking at you. You are told to smile more, sit straighter, lower your voice. The priest says, you are a woman now. You feel smaller than ever. A man 3 times your age stares too long at the well. Your mother says you must learn to cook better for your future husband. You hear them talking about you outside the hut. Wait, hips, dowry, a marriage is arranged. You've never spoken to him. He doesn't ask your name. Your wedding day. You wear someone else's dress and someone else's smile. You are 14. He is 33. His hands are rough. His breath is wine. The bed is hard. The room is dark. The sheets are watched. You bite your lip to stay quiet. That's what a good wife does. In the morning, they congratulate him. They don't look at you. You are not a girl anymore, but no one asks if you are ready. Visual and scene cues for CapCut moment. Visual prompt. First blood POV. Looking down at bloodstained shift. Candlelit interior village whispers over the shoulder shots of women gossiping. Staring as you pass wedding day close-up of hands being tied. Teary eyes. Wilted flower crown. Wedding night. Darkness. Soft sounds. Silent tears on a rough linen morning after you alone. Sitting at edge of bed. Bruised. Distant look sound. Muffled voices. Wind outside. Breathing in the dark. Crackling fire. Soft sob color. Pale grays. Faded reds. Washed out browns. Like memory drained of joy when girlhood ends. Your body betrays you. It blooms and bleeds without asking you first. One morning, you wake up and find blood staining the linen shift you wore to bed. You try to hide it, pretend it isn't happening. Pray to God it isn't real, but it is, and there is no undoing it. You pull the soiled shift inside out and stuff it under your dress. When your mother finds it, she doesn't ask questions. She doesn't hug you or scold you. She just looks at you and nods. Then she goes to the cupboard and hands you a clean rag. Blood soaks it almost instantly. They will start looking at you now, she says, quietly, her voice flat. They is everyone. Men, women, even children. They will point and stare. They will nudge each other and whisper, and you will feel their gazes boring into you. Their knowing smiles will make you want to hide. You won't know where to go, what to do. You will have to smile more. Your mother continues. Sit straighter. Speak less. Lower your voice. She tells you how to walk, how to stand, how to hold your head high, but also how to shrink yourself and disappear. After this day, your life is not yours. It will be a good marriage, your mother says. He is a respected man in the village. You will have nice clothes, fine food, and a big dowry. Your father speaks little, but when he does, his eyes are shining. He talks about barns and granaries overflowing with grain, fields sown with new seed, cattle fattening in the stalls. Soon, the priest comes to collect what is rightfully his, to take your innocence away and give you a different kind of curse. He calls it a blessing. The man at the well is older than your father. He looks at you and doesn't turn away when you look back. His lips curl in a way that makes your skin crawl. It's disgusting. It's obscene. It's evil. Stares and stares, and your mother pulls you away. Later, she tells you the man was only looking at your backside, but you know better. You see the hungry glint in his eyes, and your heart pounds against your ribs. Every time you pass by the well, you hurry. You keep your eyes fixed on the path ahead. One afternoon, while you are pounding grain, your mother joins you. She is unusually silent. Her face is tight and pale. Your father has been talking to old man Hemlock. She finally says, he wants us to fix the marriage. Your hands stop their rhythmic pounding. Fix the marriage, you echo. Mother nods, her eyes far away. I know it's strange, but we cannot say no. It's for your good. But I don't even know him, you protest. You will. Soon enough, Mother replies, sighing. He is twice your father's age. So, you've seen how he looks at you. How he looks at all women. You do know, though, you've seen the way men look at women. They don't see you, who you are, what you are, okay? They only see what they can get, what they can use you for. You are barely a woman, your mother says, ignoring your outburst, and I am only thinking of your future. It would have been better if you had been wed right after your sister, but you weren't ready then. Now you are. You hate her for agreeing to this, hate her for betraying you, hate her for breaking you without caring. The wedding day arrives in a flurry of activity. Women swarm around you, pulling, tugging, adjusting the red dress they have found for you. It belongs to your elder sister, and it's too big, too heavy, too ornate. You hate it. You hate how they force you to wear it. You hate the way it smells like your sister, like her lavender soap. You hate the way it clings to you and chokes you. They put flowers in your hair, but you wish they were weeds, brambles, nettles, anything to make them pull back their hands, to make them leave you alone. You hate your reflection in the water bowl, Akala. The girl staring back is a stranger, Kana, her breast strained against the dress, her hips swaying as she walks. Where did that girl go? The one who used to run barefoot in the meadows, who used to swing on the rope cart, who used to dream of distant lands and a prince who would love her for her and not for her dowry, who used to laugh so easily, so often, so purely. That girl is gone. And you don't want to be this girl, this woman they are turning you into, but you are, whether you like it or not. When the groom arrives, he is as ugly as they said. He has the bearing of a bull, the manners of a boar. He doesn't care that you are younger than his son. He doesn't bother to ask your name, to learn its meaning. He only wants to know what goods you bring to the table, what you can give him, what you can do for him. At the wedding feast, he sits with men twice and thrice your age. They clap you on the back, pinch your bottom, stroke your hair. You shiver with disgust, hatred, fear. You cry silently, wishing you could disappear, wishing you were dead. On the wedding night, they lead you to a dark room, lit only by a single flickering candle. The sheets on the bed are rough, scratchy, smelling of stale sweat and chamber pots. You hate the feel of the rough linen on your bare arms, neck, thighs. You hate the feel of his hands on you, his lips on your cheek, his tongue in your ear. You hate the way he smells like old wine and stale urine. You hate the way he touches you, as if you were his property, as if you were nothing but a thing to be used, abused, and thrown away. You hate the way he groans your name, which isn't yours. You hate the way he laughs, slapping his thigh, as if he owns you, as if you were his prize, his trophy. All the women are watching. You know they are waiting. Waiting for you to give in, waiting for you to accept this violation as natural, normal, necessary. But you won't. You can't. You want to fight, to scream, to claw and bite. But he is stronger. He pins you down, rips off your dress, throws it on the floor. You cry out, squeezing your legs together. Too late. He is inside you. He thrusts and pushes until it hurts, until you hurt. You hate him. You hate yourself. You hate the bloody stain spreading on the sheets, soaking into you, clinging to you. You bite your lip to stop your scream from tearing out of your throat. That's what a good girl does. A good little girl. A quiet, obedient little girl who brings good name and good cheer to her master. In the morning, they come to collect their prize. They congratulate him, slap him on the back, shake his hand, hoist him on their shoulders. None of them looks at you. None of them asks how you are, if you are all right. You aren't. But no one asked if you were ready. This is not a love story. This is not a fairy tale. This is not a lullaby. This is war, and I am just a girl who never asked for it. The bed you share is not a bed. It is a sentence, a stage, a duty. Sometimes, when he is drunk, he calls it his kingdom. You learned to turn away without flinching, to breathe through your mouth. It doesn't matter anymore if he wants her or needs her. The need is the same. The hunger is the same. Tonight, he smells of horses and sweat and something you can't name. Something wild, untamed, like the long grass swaying in the wind, hiding what lies beneath. You turn to face the wall, tucking your chin against your chest. Why did I let them marry us? Why did my father agree? Was it worth the dowry? Was it worth the cow? Was it worth the donkey? What is she worth? You stop counting the nights. You stop feeling the difference between dreams and wakefulness, between what is real and what isn't. You stop counting the moons, the seasons, the years. You stop feeling anything but emptiness. There is a small hole in the wall across from the bed. Whenever the moon peeks through, you see the blue sky during the day and the darkness at night. During the day, you pretend to be busy weaving. At night, you pretend to be asleep. You listen to the men talking in the courtyard about politics, land, possessions, battles. You think about open fields, endless skies, a life without walls. One morning, you wake up different. You feel the space beside you, colder than usual. You reach out to touch the emptiness. Then you feel a stirring within you, a tiny flutter like a bird taking flight. Fear grips you. What is this? Why does your body ache? Your breasts feel heavy with milk that has not yet come. You hide the bulge under your linen dress. You keep hiding it until the bulge becomes a swell, until the swell becomes a mound. The village women gather round, their fingers digging into your flesh like they own it, like they have always owned it. One of them says, "You've got some color in your cheeks now," and you know what she means. The men will notice. Soon, everyone will. You wonder how you will hide it then. How will you explain it? Will you dare to speak of it? Can you even name it? When you are with child, the village smiles. They say, "You have done your part." They pat your back, pull your braids, pinch your cheeks, touch your belly. They say, "You look pretty, like a full moon, like a ripe fig, like a laden branch." But you don't feel pretty. You feel enormous. Your stomach swells, your back breaks, your breath grows shallow. You hate the way people look at you, the way they ask questions and offer congratulations, the way they invade your space, your time, your body. You would give anything to be invisible, to slip away, to fade away, to disappear. There is no doctor, only herbs, only pain, only waiting. You search for answers in books with old wives' tales. You read about walking backwards, standing on your head, eating strange foods. Nothing helps. You pace the yard, clutching your belly. You talk to the unborn child inside you. You ask questions, but you already know the answers. You tell stories, but you already know the endings. The sun beats down on your face. Quote, trickles down your neck. Quote, the wind ruffles your hair. The earth trembles beneath your feet. The sky weeps above your head. The rain soaks through your clothes. Storm rages in your heart. You hate the way your body changes. You hate the way it feels. You hate the way it smells. You hate the way it betrays you. Then the baby comes. It is always a surprise. It is always a shock. You scream into straw as the baby comes. You claw at the blanket, but no one lets you. They want you to feel the pain. They want you to taste the fear. They want you to witness the moment of truth. They want you to remember it. No one covers your mouth. They want to hear it. They want to see it. They want to celebrate it. You bite your lip until it bleeds. Blood pools on the floor, on your thighs. The midwife wipes your thighs with ash. She cleans you. She ties you. She watches you. The baby cries. It is a boy. Everyone cheers. They want to hold him, to touch him, to kiss him, to name him. You are allowed to smile. You show your teeth. It is a new beginning. It is also an ending. You are given no time to heal. You are feeding, cleaning, bending the next day. The village women gather round again, their eyes sharp, their tongues sharper. They ask questions. I offer advice. They tell you what to do, what not to do. They tell you what to think, what not to think. You hear their words, but you don't understand them. You feel the burn of their gazes, but you don't flinch. You are beyond their judgments, their expectations, their demands. You are beyond everything but survival. At night, the baby cries. So does your body, but only one is held. You rock the cradle with your sore arms. You sing songs you have never sung before. You hum tunes you have never heard. You pray to gods you do not believe in. You hope for sleep that does not come. You dream of freedom that slips through your fingers like sand. The nights are cold. The blankets are thin. The room is dark. The shadows are long. You huddle by the hearth, seeking warmth, seeking solace. You watch the flames dance, seeking distraction, seeking escape. You stare into the abyss, seeking answers, seeking meaning. Winter comes early. Winter comes hard. You wrap the baby in layers, but it is still too cold for him. The midwife says it was too cold for his spirit. You bury him behind the hut. You dig a hole with your bare hands. You place the cloth bundle in it. You cover it with dirt. You plant a tree on top of it. There is no grave marker. There is no priest. You whisper to the dirt, I'm sorry I couldn't keep you warm. You walk back to the house, your hands stained with mud, your eyes filled with tears, your heart torn with grief. The baby is gone. A part of you is gone. The dream is dead. You are all that is left. You are all that remains. You are all that is broken, and no one sees it, and no one cares, and no one asks why. They don't need to. They know why. They know why you cry. They know why you bleed. They know why you suffer. They know why you exist. Okay, and I am just a girl who never asked for any of it.
You belong to your husband. Your labor belongs to the land. Your soul belongs to the church. There is nothing left for you. The medieval world was not kind to women. In fact, There's hardly a single area of their lives where they weren't entirely controlled and monitored. They were judged for every aspect of their being, appearance, actions, even thoughts, and any slip-up could lead them down a dangerous path of public shaming and punishment. A woman could be accused of witchcraft and sorcery, branded a heretic and burned at the stake, all for simply existing outside the narrow boundaries of what society deemed acceptable for a female. Their fates often sealed by male authority figures, who held the power to shape their lives and ruin their reputations. In this episode, we will delve into the chilling reality of these times and explore the terrifying accusations that could seal a woman's fate. So buckle up, because today we're retaking a journey into the dark past, where reputations were shattered and lives were lost on the mere suspicion of wrongdoing. Medieval peasant women. Spiritually and socially owned, medieval peasant women had little to no rights and were considered property, owned by their husbands, fathers, or other male relatives. They belonged to the church, the land, and the system. They didn't have personal autonomy and were expected to obey their male counterparts without question. Kneeling. As a woman, you would spend hours each day on your knees, first in the morning when you wake up, then during the day if you're a worker, and finally before bed. Your knees would become hard and cracked from kneeling on the cold, hard stone floor. They would bleed, yet you would continue to pray. The priest would say your suffering is holy, your silence is your virtue. Any sound you make is a distraction and you are chastised. Tithing. You tithe 1/10 of everything you own. You don't own anything, so you give 1/10 of what your husband owns. 1/10 of his tools, 1/10 of his crops, 1/10 of his animals, 1/10 of his earnings. Nothing is yours, you are his. Pain. They tell you that pain brings you closer to God. When your husband beats you, they say you must have provoked him. When you bleed from birth, they say it cleanses your sin. No reading. You cannot read the Bible. It is in Latin. His words are your only truth. You cannot speak in Mass. You are not a vessel of wisdom. You cannot inherit land, property, or name. Even your children carry his name. When your daughter is born, no one celebrates. Not again. Your son is taken to be trained. Your daughter is taught to scrub. Confession. You must confess every thought, every quiet one that says, I want more. You are told that God wants to hear everything, that even a silent sin is a sin. Fear. You fear hell, but you fear this life more. When the night is cold and long, you huddle under your rough blanket and imagine the fires of hell. The devil whispers in your ear that this life is worse, that you have more to lose here than there. Winter. You ask God for a sign. He gives you another winter. You watch the leaves turn and fall. You feel the first sting of frost on your bare arms. You know winter is coming, and when it comes, you are glad of the sun's brief visits. Candle. You come home from the fields and your hands are dirt-stained and raw. You light a candle, its flame dancing in the gloom. For a moment, you see only the flame. Then you look at your hands. The flickering candle seems to mock you with its brief, beautiful light. You whisper, am I still yours? Nameless. Medieval peasant women had no legal right to own property in their own name. They couldn't buy, sell, or inherit property like men could. Instead, the property was owned by their father or husband. If a woman's father died and she was not married, her brothers or other male relatives inherited their father's property. If she got married, her husband would then own all of her belongings. This meant that women were economically dependent on men and had little control over their own financial situation. They were essentially seen as property that could be passed down from one male owner to the next. Now let's move on to our main topic, the terrifying accusations that could seal a medieval woman's fate. Accusation 1. Witchcraft and sorcery. During the Middle Ages, the fear of witchcraft and sorcery ran rampant, especially among peasant women who were often seen as vulnerable to the temptations of the devil. Any misfortune, illness, or death could be attributed to a woman's alleged involvement in witchcraft, leading to accusations and even These accusations could be driven by superstition, personal vendettas, or even religious zeal. If a woman was accused of witchcraft, she would be subjected to a trial where her behavior, appearance, and even family history would be scrutinized. Accusations of witchcraft often targeted independent or outspoken women who didn't conform to societal norms, making them easy targets for those seeking to silence or punish them. Accusation 2. Heresy. Heresy was another charge that could destroy a woman's life in medieval times. This was an accusation of holding religious beliefs that went against the teachings of the Catholic Church, which had a strong hold on people's lives during that period. Women who questioned religious doctrines or engaged in unorthodox religious practices were considered heretics and faced severe consequences. The charge of heresy could be leveled against a woman for various reasons, such as practicing folk medicine, having unconventional beliefs, or even engaging in forbidden relationships. The church authorities took accusations of heresy very seriously and employed a special court, the Inquisition, to investigate and punish those found guilty. Here are some facts about peasant women in medieval Europe that highlight their challenging circumstances. Peasant women had no political power. They couldn't vote or hold public office. They were not allowed to own or inherit property in their own names. Their work was undervalued and often unpaid. They faced severe punishment for engaging in premarital sex or having multiple partners. They were often blamed for causing illness or misfortune. They had limited access to education and were not encouraged to be literate. They were expected to be subservient to men and could be punished for being disobedient. They were subjected to forced marriages and had no say in choosing their partners. They were often the victims of domestic violence and had nowhere to turn for help. These facts paint a grim picture of the reality faced by peasant women in medieval Europe. They were trapped in a system that denied them basic rights and subjected them to mistreatment and abuse. Their lives were heavily restricted and controlled by societal norms and male authority figures.
The sun dipped below the horizon, staining the sky the color of old bruises. A chill wind rustled through the village, pulling whispers from shuttered windows and chimney pots. It snaked down cobblestones, tugged at skirts, pulled at loose-clacked pins, and rattled the sign above the tavern like a loose tooth, where trouble brewed, stronger than the ale, and secrets kept tighter hold than purse strings. In the flickering lamplight of an inn-corner table, 3 cloaked figures huddled, their faces half hidden in the shadows. Their voices, when they spoke, were roughened by the long road and weary discontent. 3 brothers, all of them outcasts, searching for work in this God-forsaken place. And yet, something made them uneasy. The inn was filled with men, burly men with hard hands and harder eyes, the sort that didn't bother with niceties. And the 3 men sat close together, almost defensively, their eyes darting to the shadowed corners. Here, silence was heavy with unspoken truths. Every cough, every scrape of chair on stone floor echoed their unease. Even the innkeeper seemed wary, his glances sharp, his movements quick. These men, he seemed to say, are trouble. Keep away. But why? What had brought them here? A chance encounter at the crossroads, a shared tale in a common hall, the promise of coin and anonymity. Brothers sought shelter in a village where no man asked questions, when need was the only law. But now, doubt crept in, whispering of danger. Should they have come? Was there nowhere left for them to turn? And then one of the brothers lifted his head. His eyes narrowed, catching the flicker of movement outside the window. A lone rider approaching fast, silhouetted against the dying light. Who was he? Was he alone? How far did he see? What did he know? This is a tale of fear, of suspicion, of a world where silence was golden and speech could get you killed. When the sun set early and shadows stretched long, every creak of timber, every sigh of wind carried new dangers. If you lived too long, if you spoke too freely, if you knew too much, you became a threat. You were marked. You were a burden. You were an outcast. You were a witch. You aged. You survived. That was enough to make you dangerous. Okay. The years had been hard, but you had borne witness to the slow decay of Hookhaven. Okay. You had seen the good times and the bad, the laughter and the tears, the births and the deaths. You knew its secrets, its sorrows, its lies. You were the village widow, the keeper of memories and the keeper of secrets. But secrets had a way of unraveling, and memories could turn to ash in the mouth. Your hair thins, your belly softens, your hands grow stiff. The children call you the quiet one. The men stop looking. The women start whispering. In hushed voices, they spoke of curses and caution, the knowing glances, They watched you move through the village, weighed your every word, measured your every step. And the younger women, with their smooth hands and hopeful eyes, they tried to warn you. They saw the shift in glances, heard the undertones of fear. Stay indoors after dark, they said, their fingers tracing the patterns in their skirts. Don't speak to strangers, they warned, their voices tight with unspoken terror. Don't trust the shadows, they begged, their eyes wide with unshed tears. But you were tired. Tired of the fear, the suspicion, the whispered tales. You were just a widow trying to make her way in a world that had changed without you. You sowed herbs and sewed rags, whispered prayers over fevers, offered comfort to the grieving. They called it witchcraft. A calf dies, a child coughs, they look at you. You spoke once of midwives using lavender for bleeding, of herbs that eased fevered brows. That was enough. The steward's wife pointed at your door. She knows too much, she said, her voice dripping with accusation. And the men nodded, their faces grim, their eyes hard. They came for you at dusk, when the shadows stretched long and the whispers turned to shouts. You knew what they wanted. They wanted answers. They wanted blame. They wanted a scapegoat. They knock at your door, torches held high, casting dancing shadows on the wall. Faces twisted with rage and fear, voices echoing with accusation and grief. You open the door and step out into the night. The air is thick with tension, heavy with unspoken accusations. Their eyes bore into you, searching for answers, for signs, for proof. Their faces, once familiar, now seemed distorted, twisted by fear and anger. Their voices, once friendly, now sound accusing, hostile, demanding. They want answers. They want justice. They want revenge. They take you to the square. The air grows colder, the silence deafening. Faces peer from behind shuttered windows. Voices rise and fall in hushed murmurs. You stand, accused, alone, surrounded by darkness and whispers. You feel their eyes on you, heavy with expectation, laden with accusation. They ask you to confess, to speak, to reveal the secrets that lie dormant within you. But what secrets? What truths? What confessions? Your silence screams guilt, your hesitation, proof of treachery. They scream louder, their voices echoing in the empty square, bouncing off the shuttered windows, mingling with the whispers in the shadows. Confess, speak, reveal. Their voices rise, becoming a chorus of accusation. But what can you say? What can you reveal? You refuse to play their game. You were slapped, spat on, called cursed. The pain stings, the humiliation burns, but you stand firm. You will not break. You will not bend. You will not yield. They press closer, their faces contorted with rage, their eyes blazing with accusation. Their words are venomous, their accusations biting, but you remain resolute. You will not betray yourself. You will not betray your past. You will not betray your truth. A young girl weeps. She watches from the crowd, her eyes wide with terror, her body trembling with fear. She knows she will be next, that they will come for her, too, that she will be judged, accused, punished, for being related to you, for knowing too much, for being too young, for being too innocent. You are released. They leave you bruised and battered, but alive, breathing, defiant. You walk back alone. The shadows lengthen, the whispers grow louder, the accusations sharper. The torches cast flickering shadows on the cobblestones, turning the square into a macabre dance floor of light and dark. The scent of fear and sweat hangs heavy in the air, mingling with the smoke from their torches and the damp earth beneath your feet. You walk past shuttered windows, past darkened doorways, past silent onlookers. Their eyes follow you, their whispers echo, their judgments linger. You are not forgiven, only watched. Forever watched. You reach home. The crooked door looms before you, a silent sentinel to your solitude, a mute witness to your ordeal. You push open the door, step inside. The room is dim, the furniture heavy, the silence deafening. You close the door, lean against it, slide to the floor. The wood is cold beneath you, the silence heavy around you. You are alone. Outside, the celebrations begin. Cheers rise, music plays, laughter echoes, but inside, you are alone with your bruises and your memories. Sleep comes late, troubled by dreams of accusations, fear, and fire. The morning breaks gray and cold, mirroring the bleak landscape of your heart. You wake alone, your body aching, your spirit bruised, but unbroken. Survive the night, the whispers, the accusations, the fear. You are still here. You are still breathing. You are still dangerous. And so the cycle continues. Fear seeps into Oakhaven like a creeping vine, choking hope, stifling truth, twisting love into suspicion. In the village square, life goes on. Children laugh, dogs bark, merchants hawk their wares, lovers whisper sweet nothings, whoop. But beneath the surface, fear festers, waiting to bloom again. For in Oakhaven, the quietest hearts hold the deadliest secrets, and the smallest whispers can raise the biggest storms. And you are the quietest of them all. If I give up, it's not just about losing myself. It's about betraying everyone who looked to me to keep the stories alive. Everyone who believed I could find the answers hidden in the pages of our history. I couldn't tell if it asked the cool night air or Mama Astu still warming my belly, but I feel strong. Like a flame catching wind, my resolve grows with each step toward the manor house. What is it about this story that resonates so deeply within me? Why does knowing about these women set my soul on fire? Their strength is a reflection of my own, a reminder of my resilience. In facing their challenges, I see my own battles mirrored back at me, and I am inspired to keep going. Their struggles are a call to action, urging me to persevere in my own life's journey. When they defied expectations and challenged norms, they remind me that I, too, have the power to break free from societal constraints and pursue my dreams. Through their achievements and triumphs, I am motivated to strive for excellence and to push past my limits. Their endurance in the face of adversity gives me hope and strength when I feel like giving up. By learning from their example, I am reminded that I am capable of overcoming any obstacle that comes my way. I might not be able to read minds, but I can see the doubts clouding the faces of the people around me. Doubts that are poisoning our village and making our lives a living hell. Hey, they think I won't find anything. Hey, they think I'm wasting my time. They're betting on my failure because that's easier than believing in me. So I'll show them. I'll prove them wrong. I'll bring them the answers they need to survive. But I have to hurry. The longer I wait, the deeper their despair becomes, the more hopeless they feel. This is what Mama saw in me all those years ago. This is why she taught me to trust my intuition and to keep searching, even when others lose faith. And I haven't let her down yet. I won't let her down now. For Mama, for our village, for myself, I will succeed, okay? And when I do, their eyes will open wide with wonder and disbelief, okay? And I'll know I've done something truly special. Chapter 3, The Quiet Rebellion, begins with a double negative that carries a lot of weight. You weren't allowed to fight, so you healed. You weren't allowed to speak, so you remembered. These are two sides of the same coin. It's a coin of oppression, where women are denied the right to defend themselves or express their thoughts, okay? But in that denial, a quiet rebellion is born, okay? You couldn't fight physically, so you fought in your own way. You couldn't speak out loud, so you kept the stories and knowledge alive in your memories. You became experts at hiding your strength, biding your time, waiting for the right moment to strike back, okay? Or a better place to preserve knowledge and protect each other than in the most sacred of places, the birthing room. Here, surrounded by the miracle of new life, women shared stories, remedies, and traditions, keeping their culture and heritage alive despite attempts to erase it. With every child born, They passed down the stories, ensuring that future generations would know their history and be prepared to fight for their rights. And what better way to heal than with the ancient wisdom of plants? Herbs become your weapons of choice, fighting pain, sickness, and even the darkest of curses. For in the hands of a skilled healer, herbs become more than just plants. They become allies in the fight for survival and resistance. The next line, you were never weak, only silent. This is a powerful statement because it challenges the notion that women were passive victims. No, they were far from weak. They were strong, resilient women who chose silence as a form of survival. They knew that speaking out could have dangerous consequences, so they remained silent. But that silence should not be mistaken for weakness. It was a strategic choice, a deliberate act of self-preservation in the face of adversity. They had to learn to read the signs, to understand the unspoken rules of the society they lived in. They had to be cautious in their words and actions, always aware of the potential consequences. They became masters of reading micro-expressions, body language, and the subtlest of cues. They understood the power of a glance, the meaning behind a slight change in tone of voice, the significance of a gesture or a sign. This skill allowed them to navigate the complexities of their world, to anticipate potential dangers, and to protect themselves from harm. But it wasn't just about being cautious, okay? It was also about finding ways to communicate, to resist, and to fight back, okay? Develop their own secret codes, symbols, and gestures to convey messages without drawing attention to themselves. They used whispers in the dead of night to share stories, exchange information, and plan their next moves. They turned everyday objects into tools of resistance. A simple handkerchief could become a coded message carrier. A dropped necklace might signal danger. A particular style of braiding could signify membership in their group. Each object, each action carefully chosen to convey a message or to take a small step towards freedom. They turned the very fabric of their lives into a battleground, a testament to their resilience and determination. These women were not passive bystanders. They were active participants in their own survival. They were warriors, strategists, and rebels who refused to be silenced. And through their acts of resistance, no matter how small, they laid the groundwork for future generations to come. So here's what we're dealing with. Okay, our heroines live in a world where they're expected to be seen but not heard, to endure but not resist, to be silent in the face of adversity. But that's exactly what they do. They resist. They fight back in ways big and small, from healing the sick to passing down stories, from protecting each other to fighting back against the patriarchy, okay? Now, I want to know from you guys, how do you see yourself resisting in your own life? Now, let us dive into this story and see how these women navigated their world while staying true to themselves. Ready for this? Chapter 3, The Quiet Rebellion. Let's do this. This is the last part of our series. If you're just joining us, welcome. We trust you will enjoy this concluding chapter. Let's start. They wrote your history without you, but you were always there, behind every field, every child, every prayer. You do not have a statue or a name in the scrolls, but you were the one who endured. You buried your children. You fed the land. You carried generations. They called you simple. They called you silent. They were wrong. You were the first to rise, the last to sleep. You were midwife, cook, nurse, mourner, lover, prisoner, and none of it by choice. You prayed when no one heard. You remembered when no one else did. You were the ghost in the back of every great man's story. You were the cost behind every crusade, every crown. You were told to obey, but you found your ways to resist. You were told to disappear, but you never truly did. Your pain built the world they still study. Okay, your knowledge saved lives, but was never written down. Your blood is in the soil. Your breath in the wind. You were never his, never theirs. You were always yours, even in silence. Now, let us show you. Washing, early morning, pre-dawn light. You kneel beside a clay tub filled with water drawn from the well. Outside, roosters begin to crow. Daybreak approaches. You wash your face and neck and arms, then stand up to finish on your back. Use the flat stone to roughen and scrape the grime of the week away, leaving open sores and new scratches in its wake. Once more, your reflection looks back at you, haggard, worn, but unbroken, not beautiful, but whole. You dry yourself on the rough hemp cloth hanging beside the door. No mirror, so you turn to the window. Dawn now, and the rising sun paints the sky in hues of rose madder and burnt umber. In the hollow of your hand, you see your outline traced against the brightening world. When the men awake, they will not notice the lines etched on your forehead or the deepening hollows under your eyes. They will not know the burden you carry inside your bones, nor how many prayers you have whispered in the night for their safe return. Birthing, the babe cries out, filling the small room with sound. The mother gasps, her breath catching in her chest. Her eyes, wild with exertion and pain, lock onto yours. She does not know you, but in this moment, she trusts you completely. You hold the babe as she cries herself hoarse, then falls silent. The father enters, his face creased with worry. You pass the child to him, stepping back, letting them bond over features and forms still slick with blood and sweat. Then the cleaning begins. The bedding, the babe, the mother. The village midwife has done her work. Soon, laughter will fill the room as family and friends arrive, bearing gifts and greetings. But for now, there is quiet. The quiet of shared experience, of life begun and life renewed. Under the single flickering candle, you watch the family settle in for the long night ahead, suckling, singing, swaying, and when the baby cries again, you step forward to take the child while the mother rests. You are not her mother, sister, daughter, or wife, yet in this moment, you are all of those things and more. Teaching the children have gathered around, their heads bent over the rough wooden table. Their day begins and ends with work, but there is time before and after for learning. Sit cross-legged on the ground, leaning against the wall. Their questions come thick and fast, their voices echoing in the small space. Where do babies come from? Why does bread need salt? How do trees stay upright? You answer each question patiently, pulling objects from your basket, arranging them on the table to make your points clear. Theirs are the bright, eager minds of youth. Your own is seasoned with the hard-won lessons of experience. As the sun climbs higher in the sky, some children drift away to play. The others remain, their eyes wide with curiosity and wonder. You point out the patterns in nature, the mathematics hidden in plain sight, the practical applications of reading and writing, of science and faith. You nurture their minds, tend them like a farmer tends his fields, and hope that one day soon they will grow beyond you, become the scholars and saints, artists and artisans the world needs. Grieving, the villagers gather, their faces solemn, their shoulders slumped. The day before, a young man had climbed the scaffolding to fix the roof tiles, slipped, lost his balance, and fallen. He was dead before he hit the ground. Today, they bring his body home. The family stands apart, their grief too deep for words. You approach them, laying a comforting hand on the widow's shoulder. Though you are not related, you are kin. You know this kind of grief. You've held other babies after battles, cradled them as they drew their last breaths. The child is buried next to his father in the churchyard. The priest drones on about God's will, but you know better. God did not want this child. God would claim a soul so young and vibrant. Only death did. Death in the darkness that lingers even after the sun has set. You return to the house, staying late to help however you can. Food must be prepared, bodies cared for. After everyone has gone, you linger a moment longer. whispering a prayer of comfort and remembrance for the dead and solace and strength for the living. Tomorrow, life will go on. The work must be done. Okay. But tonight, there is only grief. The marketplace. Laughter mingles with the shouts of vendors and the bleating of goats. The marketplace bustles, a hive of activity and gossip. The weekly gathering is a chance to trade goods and services, to buy food and supplies, to hear the latest news from neighboring villages. You weave through the crowd, stopping to chat with an old friend, haggling over the price of eggs and cheese. Life is good. There's plenty to eat, enough coin in circulation to keep the economy strong. No threat of famine or war hangs over the horizon. The king and the pope may be squabbling over land and power, but here, in this place, there is peace. For a moment, you let the hubbub wash over you, enjoying the warmth and light, the camaraderie and chatter. Then it is time to go home. You stop to admire a display of fresh flowers and greenery, their colors bright and cheerful. You buy a sprig of rosemary to add to the soup tonight. The aroma will be pleasant, but more importantly, the herb has healing properties. Nothing is wasted. All will be used. Nothing will be thrown away. You are leaving. Your journey began long ago, long before you left the village. In your mind, you retraced your steps. Every house, every street, every cobblestone beneath your feet is imprinted on your memory. The road ahead stretches before you, uncertain and daunting. You tighten your grip on the reins, urging the donkey forward. Where you go, you do not know. What awaits you, you cannot imagine. You look back at the village one last time, then turn away, disappearing down the road. Your departure echoes in the empty streets. Chickens strut and peck where children chased each other yesterday. The market stalls are abandoned, their wares untouched. Gone are the vendors calling out their wares, the shoppers bartering for prices. Gone are the sounds of hammers on wood, of saws on stone, the murmur of conversation. Now there is only silence, and in the end, that is how they remembered you. Final morning. The sun rises over the fields, painting the sky in hues of peach and apricot. Two clings to the tall grasses, heavy with the promise of a new day. An older woman stands in the center of it all, her face weathered and lined, her eyes bright with wisdom and age. She raises her head to meet the sun, her silhouette outlined against the brightening sky. She is alone, yet not lonely. Behind her, the fields stretch out, a tapestry of gold and green. Before her, the day unfolds, full of promise and possibility. Beside her, a young girl now, doing what you once did, but differently. With awareness, she smiles up at the woman, her eyes shining with innocence and joy. The woman smiles back, her heart full. She knows that the cycle continues, that life goes on, and though she may be nearing the end of her journey, her spirit will live on in the next generation. She takes a deep breath, feeling the wind on her skin, the sun on her face. Another day dawns, another chance to live, to learn, to love, to hope. She turns to the girl, her smile widening. It's going to be a good day. Kiev, walking alone down the village path, no one watching, yet somehow seen. Final scene. Wind whispers through the wildflowers, a soft melody carried on the breeze. A single candle burns down to its wick, casting dancing shadows on the weathered stone walls. In the distance, a church bell tolls, its sound echoing across the rolling hills.